Dr. Bradford, aka Nicole, what's one question that nobody ever asked you that you want them to?
Well, I guess I would say my question would be, and now you're saying personal or on a pod?
Let's do personal.
Personal. I guess the question that I would want people to ask me would be, what activity did you participate in when you were younger that no one knows about?
Hmm. So I have to ask the question now. Well, what activity did you participate in that no one asked you about?
Well, believe it or not, when I was growing up, MJ was, of course, the number one man.
Mhm.
And so I would always go to the Michael Jackson Lookalike contest. And so my mom was like my momager at that time, back in the 80s. And I had my curl and my jacket and my moves. And she would push me to the front. And so I was able to go to a lot of the Michael Jackson Lookalike contests and
Wow. Wait. So what was your favorite Michael Jackson dance?
the moonwalk,
The
of course.
moonwalk. The
Yes.
moonwalk.
Yes.
Now, you might know it because you might be a bigger Michael Jackson fan than I am. I do love Michael. I heard he wasn't the originator of, or the inventor of the moonwalk. It was somebody else that they said he got it. I don't know how true it is, but it surfaced a couple times. And if you were, maybe you might have known, but I was like, "Ah."
I believe he was the first. I think he's the one and only.
Oh, we'll say he's the best
The best. Okay.
because the other person couldn't have been that good because
Exactly. See?
we don't know who he is. So we're glad you're here. We want to get right into it so we don't waste any of your time. Let's talk first about the book that you wrote. What inspired to that? But what actually inspired you to finish writing the book?
I think life.
Mm.
I kept running into so many brick walls and having challenges in life. And for me, I've always been the underdog. I've always been different. And I started, I mean, if you've seen my bio, I'm from Austin. And, in Austin, they say keep Austin weird. So, of course, I've
Wow.
always,
I didn't know, I
yes,
didn't know that.
they do. Yes,
Wow.
we're different in Austin. And so I've always been different. And so this book is very important to me because my integrity, I believe at times have set me apart
Mhm.
because there are situations at work or a situation with friends and in life that would occur. And I couldn't just hold my peace and go along to get along. I had to speak up. I had to say something. And so the title, My Soul is Not for Sale, I believe has been inside of me for years and years because I kept questioning myself. Why when I go into situations and let's say, for example, they say, diversity, we love diversity and we want it all here. But then you go and you're more of a face and not a voice.
Mhm.
Face and not a voice. And so I would question some things, and that was not popular, and that's not what you should do. And so I wondered, why am I running into these situations? You said that. And so we should be able to discuss that, and it should be
Mhm.
okay when it really isn't. And so I had to tell myself, it's okay, Nicole. You have to understand your soul is not for sale. You have the integrity, you have your morals and your values. And if you see something, you're going to do what they told us many years ago. You're going to say something. And so the title is My Soul is Not for Sale, Removing the Lies, the Labels, and the Limitation. And so that's very powerful because when you think about that, we're all told different lies and we all have these labels. When you speak out, you're a troublemaker. Or when you're like,
Mhm.
oh my goodness, don't deal with that type of population. They're dangerous. And
Mhm.
times the limitations are limitations we put on ourselves. And so this book gives you some strategies, some takeaways. It gives you examples. So if you are someone that's dealing with, my integrity, why is it tough for me in relationships, my workplace? Then it gives you some strategies on how to work with different individuals and how to become successful in those work environments and in relationships, but at the same time, holding on to your integrity and who you are.
Man, if we ended the podcast on that,
Mm.
what what makes you have this internal conviction that you won't sell out?
I think it's a part of who I am and also my faith. It's something that I was born with. It's something on the inside, and it'll convict you because you know what's right. You know what you should say. And so in the book, I talk about some of the hush money, and not so in the world that it is in our society today. But I think some of us, we think about, well, I get that paycheck on the 1st and the 15th. I would say something, but I need my check.
Ooh.
And then you'll go into the break room and you'll tell the person that's outspoken, I can't believe they're doing that. I'm glad you're doing it. It makes a lot of sense. Power to you, and you keep going. Don't give up. But then you walk out of that break room and you ain't saying nothing. They're not gonna mess with my first and my 15 paycheck. That keeps us quiet, and that helps us to conform instead of doing the things that we need to do, which is to stand up. And then there's an area in the book that I talk about the flush method. And so I'm the youngest of 6 kids, and my sister right before me would always tell me, Nicole, when you're having different situations that you're struggling with, I want you to go and have your private time. So she would tell me, you get a roll of toilet tissue or whatever, a piece of paper, and you write down things that are stressing you out, that are overwhelming you, things that you're having problems with. You review it, you reflect on it, you pray over it, and then I want you to ball it up, and I want you to flush it, and you got to.
Ooh.
And so it facing life's unpleasant situations and heal. If we don't heal from the things that have hurt us, we won't be able to move forward in a productive manner. So my soul is not for sale has, of course, a lot of acronyms that I've come up with, but strategies and takeaways. Then we talk about biases that's in the build, and the biases that we need to address, and the biases that people want to ignore, so that everyone can feel free to do an excellent job at work and feel comfortable, and they don't have to leave parts of them in the car or parts of them at home. It's to fit in.
Oh, oh. So that to me, hearing that, I immediately think shrinking or having to hide, because if you bring your full self, something is going to happen. Now, do you see that happen with people often?
Oh, most definitely. Yes. And in the book, I have lots of examples. And I provided those examples so people won't think, well, it's just me. Something's wrong with me. There are other people that are courageous enough to stand up and say, no, this is not right. When we're making our airplanes, we have to speak out when there's a lot of things that's going on in our society. And if we didn't have those individuals that were courageous enough to stand up, where would we be as a society? So it's just bringing us back to our core values when we're living in a society where any and everything goes.
Dr. Nicole, with this book, is there a workbook to it?
Yes.
Okay. Is there like a community around this book also?
I'm trying to drum up the interest.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get my tribe.
Look, I love it because I think with like social media and society now, no one is standing for anything. It's more so like, let's just mesh. And you use scripture, so I take it you're a believer. It's a scripture that I love that talks about, being not conformed to this world, but being transformed by the renewing of our mind. But how do you stay so strong and not conforming when everybody else is conforming around you?
Well, I think again, it goes back to when I was younger, I've always just been different. And if I blended in and I was like everyone, I thought something was wrong with me because I don't want to be like anybody else. And also, it's been by religion and how I've been trained because we're supposed to be set apart from the world. But I do like people to understand and to know, just like I used to tell my children that when they were younger, I'm human. I have my good days and I have my bad days. it hurts when people will look at you and say, oh, well, she's the one that went to HR or she's the one that spoke up, knowing that when we're not in that space, you're the one texting me behind everybody's back.
Ah,
If more
yes.
people did that, and it's always a caveat, if I didn't have X, Y, and Z, I'd stand with you. If, and we have to stop the ifs and we have to come together and start going back to our norms and our values and what makes
Mm.
us unique.
About the book building this community, you mentioned that in your younger years, you felt this, that you were gonna
Yes.
do these things. Where did that come from?
I just, I really don't know. I think
Mm.
it's something that's been placed inside of me. I'm the youngest of 6 kids. My parents started in very humble beginnings, and I was the only one that went to college. And I don't think
Mm.
anything that was different about me. We all had the same opportunities, but I think it was just that I wanted. And
Mm.
growing up in my home life, I saw things that were not the best. I did grow up in a dysfunctional household. So I witnessed some domestic violence. Unfortunately, I had individuals in my family that would go in and out of the criminal justice system,
Mm.
selling drugs, things of that nature. And I just wanted something different. I wanted something more. And I think that's what we all have. We have that passion inside of us, and that's why I have the company Maintain Flame. When you were young, you'd be in the store and you'd be dancing and singing and enjoying life and didn't care who was around you. But then you become this adult and we're always looking over our shoulder. We're always trying to, okay, are they doing that? Well, what car, new car did they buy? Or we're looking on the social media, we're scrolling so much, we don't even know how to talk to each other anymore because we're trying so hard to fit in. And that just didn't work for me because I thought if I'm fitting in and I'm trying to be like everybody else, then I need to take a closer look at myself and what really fits Nicole. And so
Ooh,
this, I truly believe my soul is not for sale has always been inside of me because that's my battle cry. And that's been the way that I live my life. And it's hard. It's hard.
it's very you said something that, you grew up in a domestic home. How did you heal from that? Because people who usually, face those things or see those things, it usually doesn't become they don't become a positive person. Sometimes they become exactly what they saw. How did you heal from that?
Lots of counseling, making sure
Mhm.
that I took care of my mental health. And also throughout the process for them teaching me that just because you were in that environment, that doesn't mean that's how your life has to be. You have
Mhm.
the ability to change your circumstance. Because when I was younger, when those things happened, I'm always the clown, the person that wants to lighten the mood. But I always wanted to bring us all together. Let's sit down and let's talk about it. But I had to understand that sometimes issues that people have that lies within them to fix. And for you, you have to focus on
Mhm.
yourself, what you bring to the table, grow from that experience, and know you still have the opportunity to design a different life and create the possibilities that you want.
I love it. Do you teach women who have seen that or who have gone through that? Do you teach them, anything, or is that not your lane?
Oh, yes, most definitely. I do. I provide coaching sessions, and it's
Nice.
for all individuals because as an educator for over 2 decades, I did that. I started on the college campus, then I transitioned to public school, and I went from the beginner level at the college as a professor up to vice president, and
Oh.
public school from a teacher all the way to a campus principal. So I've encountered the individuals that, the students that want to give up, the students that feel that, this is not for me. You can't do anything with school. I've worked with those students. I've worked with the parents that blame the school. I've worked with the school
Mm.
that blame the parents. Worked with the teachers. I think it's sometimes we have to just separate ourselves from the situation and see what role we play in that situation and then grow from that. But yes, I do counseling. I'm sorry, coaching
Mhm.
for everyone. Yes. And it's the Maintain the Flame program. It's a 10-week program.
I love it. I love it. How do you tell someone, I believe in that also. If you can separate yourself from the problem, you can see I believe you can see if you're part of the problem or
Right.
if it's whatever's causing the problem, how do you actually get somebody to do that if they're like resistant?
Well, definitely, especially as a supervisor, you coming in and I know everything. We've been doing this forever.
Yeah.
Here. But you have to also, number one, keep them to keep the vision in mind, the mission. Why are we here?
Why
That
are we
has to be
here?
first and foremost. And that doesn't just apply in the workplace. Why are you here on this earth? What is your
Mm-hmm.
purpose?
Mm-hmm.
Your purpose is not to settle. Your purpose is not to sell out. You have more inside of you. You have that potential. So let's go back to that inner child. Let's go back to that little Nicole with all of those dreams and desires, and let's reignite that flame so that we can get you to the point that you're going to push yourself to go for more and not set.
I love this. What does Nicole do to refuel herself? Because you give a lot, you coach, you're author, you do a lot of things. What do you do to refuel yourself?
Well, of course, I spend my time daily with my God. I'm just have good faith, and I'm that's huge for me. And
Mhm.
secondly, I just love being with my family. I have 3 amazing children.
Nice,
My daughter is a teacher. She graduated from Hampton. My son
nice.
graduated from Angelo State. He's working on his master's and his last season of football. And my
Mm.
baby's at UNP. And so my husband and I, with our family, we just spend family time before into our kids, watch football games, of course, the Cowboys. And as long as I feel my Cowboys, they're winning, I'm on top of the world.
I love it. I love it. With with all you do, you talked about refueling yourself, about the book, about your coaching. Let's say something happened, you weren't able to coach anymore, you couldn't write anymore, you had to pick a completely different career. What would it be?
Completely different. Can't go back to education.
Can't come back to education or coaching. Um, you could go back to being the Michael Jackson, uh, copycat if you want, but you can't go back to the careers and the things that you do now. What would you do?
It has to be something involving, people. I have to connect with people. Relationships are everything for me. My passion has always been rooting for the underdog. So maybe
Mm.
I'm the president of an organization where I'm helping now marginalized children to realize their potential, and then at the same time working with those parents so that they understand your role as a parent and the influence you have on their lives. So why it's so important for you to get your stuff together because you're impacting the next generation.
I love it. Nicole, when did you feel like, oh, when did you discover that God put you on earth to do this type of work?
I think I was always on a college level and I started there and I liked people. And I guess at church we used to do missionary work, but my mom always said, you need to go into school. And I was like, oh no, no ma'am, I am not going to that school building. But she knew it. She knew that I loved in Sunday school. I was volunteering to teach and I loved helping out others. So I just think there is different signs along the way at church, always the one trying to volunteer, get up in the front. And even when I was at Grambling State University, if I had a tough day on campus, I'd go and volunteer at the elementary campus right across the street because that brought me joy. And then
Wow.
nursing home. So anything that connects me with people because it helps me forget all the issues that I have when I am on to support someone else.
This is amazing because we see nowadays that people are not trying to be around people.
Yeah.
It's almost as if like if I'm around people, I'm overwhelmed,
Yeah.
I'm burnt out. And you're saying like I have to be connected to people of some sort.
Right. Yes. That gives me my energy.
Hmm. Okay, so you would do something that would still be with people. Now, let's just say you get a call tomorrow and someone's like, "Hey, the book is a New York Times bestseller. We want to book you to be on a tour, to travel, to speak. and things like that, you're going to be away from your family for 4 months. What do you do?
That's tough. 4 months. Do I get to come home?
You get to come home once every 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, I can do that.
Okay. Okay.
That's where I recharge.
Mm,
I have to recharge. I have to connect with my babies and my family and make sure that they're good. But yes, as long as I can come back home and recharge, oh yeah, I can do it.
you know why I asked that question? Because if you gave a quick answer and was like 4 months, absolutely, I'm out. I'd be like, that might be alarming. You
Yeah.
get to a 4 month spurt and not see what you consider to be like your support system and
Yes.
your charging station. Nicole, what would you say to, let's say you meet an African American lady, she's about 18 years old. She's like, I'm struggling to find my purpose. But what should I do? Because I'm looking at you. You've done a lot of good work. You found what you should be doing. What advice would you give her?
We're going to sit down and we're going to go over things that makes her happy. What do you enjoy? What makes your eyes just sparkle when you hear this word, or if someone puts you in this position? And once we identify at least 2 or 3 things that she loves to do, then I'm going to recommend you need to go and volunteer. You need to go in that space so you can see how, if you truly feel comfortable in that space. And then we're going to come up with a plan for her to start walking towards her dream. If you were in this space, if you could have one position or one opportunity, what would it be? And then we're going to try to make sure that that's a reality for her. But the dream is within all of us. We were all given gifts. And we just need to tap into those gifts. We have to reignite that flame. And we have to protect that flame with everything that we have. So that means when the job says, hey, I need you to stay a couple more hours, wait, my flame, I got things that I got to do for me. Because this job, y'all will be okay, but my family may not. I may have some regrets of things that I missed out on by making sure that you were the priority. So making sure you have those healthy boundaries, setting priorities for your life, and going for things that terrify you, that you fear the most. Those are the things that you should pursue.
It's amazing because you mentioned that you would coach her. You would let her see it's already inside of you. Let's pull it out. My last part of this interview, and it's amazing hearing someone with so much, not just good information, but refreshing information. Not the whole gotta just grind every day, all day, gotta just hustle culture. It's good hearing someone with the wisdom of God and the favor of God. The last part is rapid fire questions. So I ask you a couple of questions. They're off the wall. You answer them as fast as you can. There's no right.
Okay.
And this, she's ready. I love it. And there's no wrong. Okay. So first question is, you have unlimited resources, unlimited money. Where do you travel for a week?
Tahiti.
Oh, tell us why.
It is so beautiful. And I want to live in one of those huts on the water.
Oh, wow.
Wait, like that. Oh, yes.
Wow. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. The Dallas Cowboys is in the Super Bowl. Who are they up against and how much do they beat them by?
The Saints, and the score is 49-0.
I love it. All right. If you could be any superhero or famous character you've ever known in your life, who could it be and why?
I would like to be, what's the man in the suit? Like this? What's his name? I love
No. Is it Flash? Iron Man. Tony Stark. Iron Man.
My son hates it because he loves Superman and he's 23, but I'm an Iron Man girl. And he can go anywhere and do anything, and he has a protective suit.
That's the first I've got Iron Man. Everyone usually says Superman or Batman. Okay, I respect it. I respect it. Okay. You have the ability to co-write with any person in the world, dead or alive. Who is that person?
Love Les Brown.
Yes.
I think he is amazing. One of the
Yes.
best.
Yes.
Title when I was little. So Les Brown.
Yes. Les Brown, come on the show and meet Dr. Bradford. He's amazing.
Yes, he is.
Amazing. I
Mm.
studied a lot of his stuff. Two more questions. Favorite person in the world that's not family? Maybe
Oprah Winfrey.
Nice. Tell us why.
So incredible. Look at her story. She was able, when they fired her, she was like, okay, that's good for you, but let me show you what I can do. And she's built this amazing empire and just impacted so many people's lives with her message. And so that's my goal. I just want to help people. I think that's what we're called to do.
I love it. I love it. God tells you, hey, you got 3 years left on this earth. You've already done what I've asked you to do. You can do whatever you want the next 3 years. What would you do?
Going to have my own nonprofit and help out families and marginalized individuals realize their potential and to help them to create the life that they desire.
I love it. Well, Dr. Nicole, it's so cool having you on this show. I was deeply encouraged, inspired. I know that the listeners will be also. Tell them real quick where they can find you at and where they can find the book at.
The book will be on Amazon and in Barnes and Noble. And my website is www.maintaintheplane.net. And that's where you can even get a copy of the book, or I sign up for my coaching services, or have me to come and speak to you at a conference or any one of your programs.
Love it. Dr. Nicole, we'll see you when we see you. We'll make sure they get the book. I'll make sure I get the book because it has definitely blessed me. Have a good day.
You do the same. Thank you so much.
I cannot say thank you enough for listening to this episode. Do me a favor, subscribe and share it with a friend. Help us help more people as we share a message of getting unstuck with real life problems with real people solving them. Be great.